Welcome back to my channel. This is Kidomuju from KD Concept Researchers. Please kindly like and subscribe to our channel so that you can always get our videos while it drops. So today we are going to be looking at a very brief but powerful introduction course to IBM SPSS statistics. So basically, the SPSS software is a software that is built to handle statistical data analysis, especially in social sciences, where you are looking at various kinds of data, including ordinal, nominal, and even scale data. SPSS is also powerful when you're carrying out the environmental studies, let's say opinion polls, any kind of questionnaire-based survey works. Of course, you know that even those in health sector, banking sector, and every other sector sometimes do conduct a survey to be able to understand the performance of people's opinion. Probably maybe the government wants to find out about the removal of fuel subsidy, how people are going to react towards that. So they can just create a set of questions and maybe send it out to people via SMS or any other platform. Now, you see that data will be collected, and these data that are collected, they are not going to be numerical data. They come as text. So SPSS has the ability of converting text data into numerical fields. All right, so now we have the SPSS environment, which looks just like our Excel environment. You can see a lot of drop-down menus here. We have the file, edit, view, data, transform, analyze, graph, utilities, extension, windows, and help. Basically, we know what file does. That from file, you can always create new file, import data, and of course, save your already existing files. Now, SPSS by default also has a spreadsheet, just like Excel. But the little difference is that in SPSS, we have two views here. We have, if you watch my arrow here, my cursor, we have the data view, and we also have the variable view. So quickly, what is the difference between this data view and variable view? Now, in data view, this is where all data entered will be seen. For instance, you notice that it looks as if you're looking at SPSS now, you find out that it looks as if no column here has been activated. Now you see the columns here. This represents different variables, while your rows here is going to represent participants, like number of participants or number of items. Okay. Now, if I double click on this place and type the number 1 and enter. Now you find out that that column becomes activated, and by default, SPSS will give it a column name. We have a variable 0001. So I can type other numbers there. Remember how to navigate. Navigation is similar to Microsoft Excel. You can use your enter, you can use your arrow keys, you can also use your mouse to move. Now, if I come over to the second column and type a number, that column becomes activated also. So this is one way to create your columns in SPSS. However, it is always good for you to put a label to your columns. So now, let's see how we can add label to these columns you've created. Come over to this variable view. Now, if you click on variable view, you're going to see names. This is now where we have these names of variables. So I can click on it. Of course, once you type it, you overwrite what was there already. Now I can say variable 1. Now, what you have noticed is that in SPSS, a variable name cannot be spaced. You can either type it as a word, or if you must space, you must use your underscore, just like I've done here. So I'm going to call this variable 1. Come down here, I can also call this one variable, then var underscore 2. Enter. Then I'll call this one. Okay. Let's go again. var underscore 2. Then why this is var underscore 3. Now I've been able to name these variables. Okay, let me be consistent. This one is variable then number 1. So I have my variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. Now let's go back to data view and see what has happened. Now you see that neatly we have renamed our variables to variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. Now quickly, let's see how we can enter a simple data set. Let's say the first variable we want, let's say we want to prepare very simple data here. Okay. Now let me say here I want to call this one just ID. Then let's have something as gender. Then let's say we have height. And then we'll have weight. Okay. Now, if you look on the next column here, we'll have type. Now, your variables can be of different type. It could be numeric. If you click on drop-down menu, you will see various variable type here. We see comma, dots, dates, dollar, custom, string. Now, the most important is numeric and string. String being text and numeric being numbers. So I want them to be numbers. You can also set the width of your numbers. You see, this is 8. You can increase it to 10, depending on the number of digits that you want to appear. You can also set your decimal places here. And okay. All right, now label. This is now where you put the actual caption for that your variable. Now, what is this ID? Let's say let's just call it personal identification number. Now I see that this column can be expanded. Now the variable name is ID, while the label is personal identification number. Now for gender, let's say we put here gender of persons. Then this is also height. Let's say height of individuals. Then why this one is weight of individuals. Now, if your height, you have a particular unit, you can also put it here. Okay. Now let's go over to this side. We have here alignment. How do you want your text to be aligned? Is it to the right or to the left? So that's where you set your alignments here. Now, measure is very important. This is not where you decide how you want your data to be. Now, of course, ID is going to be numbers. We have 3 different kinds of measures here now. We have the scale, the ordinal, and the nominal. Now, what's the difference? Nominal talks about, let's say, which one, what kind. So that's where you use your nominal. Then for ordinal, we are talking about order. Then for intervals, interval now talks about things that have many items, like how much, how many. So that's where you talk about interval, scales, and all that. So scales take here. So I'm going to put this as the ID is going to be just nominal. Gender should also be okay. Gender should be ordinal actually. Okay, this should be ordinal also. But my height and weight should be a scale. So I will leave these ones as both scale. This is very important when it comes to analysis in SPSS. Okay, now let's come back to our data view and see what we have created. I can delete the entire data by highlighting it, right click, and then I'll choose clear. Good. I've cleared the entire data now. So in my ID, let me say the participants in this study, we just want to give them, we don't want their names. So we want to represent them by numeric values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I've entered it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's say 10 participants. Then in their sex, let's take for instance that we represent the male with 1 and female with 2. That is in no particular order. We can use 0 for male, 1 for female, or we use 1 for male, 2. Either way, so it's just to identify that. So let's say we have like equal number of male and equal number of female. So I can quickly just take all the male. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then for the female, I'll put 2. Oh, females are taking 2. Now, to be on the safer side, let's go back to the variable view. Under our gender, look at this value. Sometimes you can set values for those numbers so that SPSS, you understand that this particular value represents a particular item. Let's say you have a Likert scale, all those scale where you have from strongly disagree to strongly agree. By the time you're coding it, we'll do that in subsequent class. You have to say, okay, let 1 represent maybe strongly disagree, 2 strongly disagree, 3 agree, and then 4 strongly agree. So something like that. We are going to do that now for gender. So we'll come to this value. Click on value. Then click by the side is here. Now, value. We say let 1. What is the label for 1? Let 1 be male. Then we add it. Come back again. 2 for female. That's all. We just have these 2 categories, male and female. Then I'll okay it. Now, let's go back to our view. Now, you see that the gender is still showing 1 and 2. But look at this place here. Look at where my cursor is now. Now, this is where you toggle between value labels, whether I want it in numeric or you want it as text. Now, see what happens when I click there. Once you click there now, the gender has swapped. We are not seeing male and female. I think we should leave it this way. Okay. Then in our height, let's say we have this set of heights. Remember, the file for this to be made available afterwards. Now let's say we have 64, 66, 62, 70, 68. You can even enter with me as I'm calling them. 68, 64, another 64, 68, 66, and another 66. Then the weights here, we have 128, 124, 136, 153, 144, 116, 122, 138, 151, and 118. Okay, now we've entered all data. So we have about 10 persons involved in this data here. We have their gender, we have their height, and we have their width all entered. Now, remember the first step in any form of data analysis is data entry. In the point of data entry, that is where you collect the data that has been collected will now be entered into the computer or into the given software. Remember, computer uses what they say computer is garbage in, garbage out. It means only the information you supply the software will determine the kind of result you are going to get. So now, very quickly, we have entered all our data into this place. But then, why do we have this data here? It is good for you to enter your data because it is the data that is to be analyzed. Now, remember that this data could have been entered in Excel. If it were in Excel, all you have done is after creating these variable labels, I'll just copy and paste here. We'll get to that. Now, the first thing you want to check out about this data is you want to know the frequencies, the number of male, the number of female, and all that. So that is where this drop down menu here, analyze, comes in. Now, from analyze, this is where we are going to be doing all forms of data analysis, from descriptive statistics to Bayesian statistics. Some of them you see even non-parametric, and gives you more and more drop down. So basically, to be able to check the frequency of each of these table now, all you need to do is go to your analyze, then click on descriptive statistics, follow it to the right, then let's click on frequency. Good. Now we have a dialog box here for frequency. Now in SPSS, a lot of these dialog boxes will be coming out because it is from here that you define the command you're going to carry out before it is done, and your results will have to appear in a separate window. So I want to know the frequency of the gender. Now we have this, and we have variables. Anyone you wish to calculate will be moved into variable by clicking on this arrow pointing to the right. So I'll click on gender. I will move it. I will also click on height. The arrow points there. I'll click on width. The arrow points there. Now, let me say I want to move one back. You can also click on any of them and move it back. So you can move from left to right or from right to left, depending on which case may be. Now, if there is any form of confusion, you can always reset. Now, I want to move the three things from gender to width together. I can just click on the first one, use my control to select them all and move them together. Okay, now I'm leaving personal ID because it doesn't really count for anything. It's just like a number system. Now, having done that, to now check for any form of, go to statistics if need be. We can also get some of our descriptive statistics like the mean, of course, the standard deviation, the minimum, the maximum. Yes, these are very important. Even the sum, yeah, median and mode if need be. So I will continue. Now remember to tick this place where we have display frequency table. Everything is all set. I will okay. Now it will take us to our output screen, which I'm going to share shortly. Okay. Let me expand it. Now this is what the output looks like from the data we just analyzed. The first table we have here is statistics, where we have a valid that all 10 are valid. Missing number. Now, this missing number sometimes are important. Let's say there are some tables which has incomplete data. Let's say some have 9, some have 8. Those will now be represented here as missing number. But all 10 data points are valid for both gender, height, and weight. Now, can you see the label? The label now is taking the label from our variable view. This is gender of persons, height of individual, width of individual. You can see the mean, the median, the standard deviation. Now, the most important descriptive statistics is the mean and standard deviation. Why mean is telling you the average performance, The standard deviation is telling you plus or minus how the data points are being spread further or closer to the mean value. So this standard deviation for gender, oh really, we don't really need the mean for gender because we know it's male or female, but look at height of individual. The mean height is 65.8 with a standard deviation of 2.39. So this simply says that uh, each data point under height of individual is further from the mean value with plus or minus 2.39. So that is a very good one. That means they are not too far apart, meaning no value there is greater than the mean value with more than 2.39 or less than 2.39. While for the weight of individual, you can also see the mean here, and of course the standard deviation. Now let's go down. You see more statistics. Now at this point, now this one gives you a summary statistics. Now this one now looks at them individually. For gender, it has shown. Remember, we said we are not really interested in gender. Look at the heights. Now it shows you that of course we have different heights: 62, 64, 66, 68, and 70. And these are their frequencies. So about 3 persons here have height of 64, while 68% has height of 2 here. Now we also have their percentage, the percentage which each of these heights represented, and then we have our valid percentage. Now, because all numbers are valid, the valid percentage is the same as percentage. What of course this one is our cumulative percentage. That is the cumulative values. Addition of all percentages gives you the cumulative percentage. Now down here we have a height of individual. We have height of individual here. Now similarly, you see that there are no 2 persons having the same height because the frequency here is all 1, which is also summing up to 10. So these are just simple statistics for this data by just telling us the frequencies of occurrence of this number. Now, further analysis can be done from this same output menu. We can go back to our analyze and do further analysis. Go to descriptive, go to statistics. Now let's look at just descriptive statistics. You see, we can also analyze from here by clicking on, let me say, height and width. Move it in here, then go to options. Now by default, our standard deviation, minimum, maximum, mean has been clicked here. Okay. Okay. Now we can also add these standardized values as variable. You see what they are going to do. Now every new output in SPSS comes down. The outputs, the new one will come down. All your outputs are going to be on the same page, unlike Excel, where you have to put them in separate page. So this is simply the descriptive statistics for this data. Further analysis can also be done to it. Further analysis can be done to it. Go back to descriptive statistics. Let's say we go to explore. Explore is really where you can do a lot of things. Let me also move my height and width into explore. And let me say I want to look at height and width with respect to gender. So I'll click on gender and move it into factor. Now let's go to statistic. Okay, just show me the descriptive statistics. Then down here you can see plots. Now what kind of plots do I want? Okay, I can say give me a histogram. Use histogram to represent this data. And then I'll click on OK. And then I'll OK it here. Let's also scroll down. Remember, we are still working with the same data points, but running different analysis. The output was taking a little time to build. Now, this was what I was trying to concrete initially, which is a histogram for each of these items here now. We have a lot of plots. Now, this is for weights of individual. We have the stem and leaf, and now we have the histogram for, this is for gender. There are lots of plots here, but our interest is really on the histogram. Now, this histogram is for two items here. It's giving you the weights of individual with respect to either male or female. And of course, we have this one here for just individual. I'm trying to see the latest output. Okay, now this is the latest output, which is the last descriptive statistics we just did. Observe that N has now increased to 15, which is the new sample size. And of course, our minimum value has shifted to 45 for individuals' heights. Why for their widths? For their widths, it has moved from the mean value now to 134. This was not what it used to be. So for each time you update your data, it is always good you update your descriptive statistics, or better still, enter all data before you start your analysis. But where need be, if your data size is adjusted, your statistics also need to be adjusted. So this is basically how to enter data into SPSS, and of course how to do basic descriptive statistics, and of course know frequencies. Now see the new Z score. Can you see this now? This is now the new Z score for the updated value, for the updated table, which is up to 15. This one was when it was 10, so I can even delete this one. I can highlight the entire column, right click and say clear. Now I've cleared that to leave it now with this. So we have learned how to enter data. Remember how we did this male and female from our view here, from our variable view. On gender, we have our values where we were able to set 1 for male and 2 for female. So that for each time we type 1, the SPSS software, we know that we are talking about male, and when we type 2, it's for female. Remember, that was in no particular order. 2 can also be for male, while 1 for female, depending on how you define your variables. So this is just a brief introduction to SPSS, so that we will move from. Thank you for watching this video. You can also check out some other videos that are prerequisite to this one on our course series in data analysis using Microsoft Excel. Please kindly leave your questions in the comment section and we'll attend to them. Also remember to like, share, comment, and most especially, please kindly subscribe to this channel so that we can always serve you better. Thank you.